Look at this shit. One of my brother's friends confessed something that broke my heart. He said he stays up stating at the ceiling till 3 a.m., wondering how to buy the next bag of rice. Society has taught our men that crying is a sin, that showing vulnerability is a weakness. So they suffer alone, suffocating the silence. First, this never happened. Just one of those pseudo-feminist steaming pile of bull that we are forced to see every time June rolls over. Secondly, it is stupid because the message is fractured. What's the logical relationship between a man who stays up wondering how to buy a bag of rice and crying? What is the logic here? How do you jump from this fact to this message? What will the crying do for him? Supernaturally produce a bag of rice. Why are these people so bothered with men crying? And by people, I mean feminists. Why have they decided to die on the hill that men's mental health will be improved by crying? And why crying when there are other ways to have a better mental health? Is it a kink something? Is there a diabolic coven of witches who need men's tears to survive? What the hell is going on here? I saw this post on Facebook on this matter and loved it. The insistence on men crying is giving sadistic. There are 1,000 ways a man can be vulnerable. Crying is just one part of the entire spectrum. Strictly equating vulnerability with tears is demanding to see blood when someone says they're hurt. Men, please be vulnerable in whatever way you can. That's healthier than forcing a performance from your tear ducts. Yeah, the only reason some of these women are pushing men to cry is because they themselves feel ashamed of how easily they cry, so they want men to do it so that they can feel good about themselves. Maybe you want to normalize crying in men so that your own crying becomes less stigmatized by association. I want to believe, for the sake of my mental health, that this is not the dominant motive. So let me establish a framework that might capture my rationale without generalizing. When they say men should cry more, they are conflating vulnerability with one specific gendered expression, even though male emotional suppression is a real crisis. When they say crying is healing, they are ignoring the fact that for some men, crying doesn't bring relief. It brings shame spiral. Even though catharsis theory has some evidence, but it is not universal. Sometimes they even say toxic masculinity is why men can't cry. But that is an overly simplistic bullshit, because the truth is that some men simply don't cry much and aren't suppressing anything, and we can still admit that social policing of male emotion is real and damaging and done by all. If you are a woman who experiences crying as an involuntary, hormonally driven release that leaves you feeling better, I need you to understand that this is not transferable to many men. For most men, crying doesn't function that way, either physiologically or socially. The sociocultural consequence of this will be the emergence of a well-intentioned but potentially coercive script that asks men to perform emotion in a specific feminized way, instead of genuinely expanding the range of acceptable male emotional expression. This subset of online discourse that conflates emotional vulnerability with crying is reductive and needs to stop. Vulnerability can look like admitting uncertainty, expressing fear or tenderness without tears, asking for help, saying I don't know or I was wrong. Telling men just cry more without addressing the broader spectrum of emotional literacy is frankly lazy advice. Thank you.